The case of Sam Little. Sam Little, a name that sends shivers down the spines of those who have heard of him. Born on June 7, 1940, in Reynolds, Georgia, Little would go on to become one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. His life was plagued with darkness and violence, leaving a trail of terror in his wake. From an early age, signs of trouble were evident. Little grew up in a troubled household, with a mother who struggled with addiction. As a result, he was often neglected and left to fend for himself. This upbringing undoubtedly played a role in shaping the twisted path his life would take. Little's criminal activities began in the late 1960s, but it wasn't until the 1980s that he started his killing spree. His victims were predominantly vulnerable women, many of whom were involved in prostitution or struggling with substance abuse. Little preyed on their vulnerability, luring them into his web of deceit and violence. What made Little particularly terrifying was his ability to evade capture for so long. He moved frequently, traveling across the United States, which made it difficult for law enforcement to connect the dots and link the murders to him. Additionally, he targeted victims who were often marginalized and overlooked by society, making it easier for him to operate unnoticed. The investigation into Little's crimes was a frustrating and challenging process for law enforcement. His transient lifestyle and lack of a discernible pattern made it incredibly difficult to piece together the evidence. Many of his victims were never identified, making it even harder to bring him to justice. However, in 2012, fate intervened. Little was arrested on unrelated charges, and DNA evidence linked him to the murder of 3 women in Los Angeles. This breakthrough opened the floodgates, and Little's reign of terror slowly unraveled. With the help of the FBI's Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, VICAP, law enforcement agencies across the country began to connect the dots, identifying numerous unsolved cases that fit Little's modus operandi. During his trial, which took place in 2014, Little maintained a cold and detached demeanor. He showed no remorse for his heinous acts, treating the courtroom as if it were merely another stage for his twisted game. It was a chilling display of a man who seemed to revel in the pain and suffering he inflicted upon others. Despite his best efforts to avoid justice, Little was ultimately sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He was convicted of murdering 4 women, but the actual number of his victims is believed to be much higher. Little claimed to have killed over 90 women, and although many of his confessions have been corroborated, some cases remain unsolved to this day. Sam Little's story serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can exist in the human soul. His life was marked by violence, manipulation, and the destruction of countless lives. While his crimes may have come to an end, the scars he left on the families of his victims and society as a whole will forever remain. May the memory of his victims never be forgotten, and may their stories serve as a testament to the resilience and strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable evil. We hope you enjoyed this case overview, presented by the Emmy Award-winning Crimesonics. Be sure to give us a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content just like this.